You guys hear that? You hear the blower going on back there?
No,
Back
but we're
up.
live.
We're live.
Excellent.
We don't want to hear any blowing back there.
You want to qualify that statement, or we're just going to leave it out there?
That's
Oh,
a way to
he's-
start off this episode.
Hey, get away from there! I told you to stop that.
We're live. Do it
We're
live.
live. Hey,
Get
welcome.
out of here, John. I mean,
Oh.
oh,
Welcome to the 10 Cents Podcast. This is episode 104. Well, that's one way to start a podcast for sure. Anyways, quick little rest in peace. I don't know if any of you guys saw it or not, but and maybe some of you will remember it. You younger guys won't. Vida Blue,
No.
pitcher that was around for many years for Major League Baseball, especially like us growing up in the 80s and whatnot. Vida Blue passed away today at the age of 73.
Wow.
Rest in peace to Vida Blue. All right, topics for today. Well, let's get into the playoffs. Obviously, NBA playoffs are still going, second round. Everything's tied up 2-1. Every single series is 2-1. So Heat Knicks 2-1. What have you guys seen so far with that Heat and Knicks series?
Hey, real quick before we
Go
start,
ahead.
can I ask you something real quick? Aside from the Lakers series, is anybody really tuned into these other series, or is that just
Yeah.
a new thing?
Yeah.
No,
Yeah,
I've been
watching.
watching. I've been watching.
You guys are excited about those?
I like watching the Philly Celtics series. That one is always just, I don't know. I like watching those two teams go at it.
Yeah,
What's the other one? Knicks and Heat. I haven't
Knicks
really
and
watched
Heat.
much of that one.
that one's been
Denver,
very
Phoenix, I've been
physical.
watching. Yeah.
Yeah, very physical.
Yeah, Heat Knicks, man. It's like old school, like
Old school
it,
Heat
it,
Knicks.
it feels like the old
80s
school
basketball.
Knicks. Yeah. I mean, literally, they're just banging on each other, and
It feels like Jeff Van Gundy swinging off of Alonzo Mourning's ankle.
pretty much.
That
Pretty
series.
Yeah, for sure.
No, it's been exciting. I mean, it's been physical, and I you know what, they win without Butler, and Butler's back, and he's just putting it up. I think he's going to win this in 5 games. I don't see the Knicks being able to keep up with them.
I mean,
What do you see
Now-
out of the Knicks? Well, I mean,
it depends on which Julius Randle shows up,
Basically,
and because Brunson's been playing solid the entire time. Barrett, same thing, been playing well the entire time. And on the opposite side, though, too, with the Cavs, it's which Donovan Mitchell shows up. Like,
no Cavs. No
Yeah,
Cavs.
how's it going?
oh, sorry,
The Heat.
the Heat. Sorry, whether or not Butler is
Yeah,
doing
if
what he
Butler's
needs to
there,
do.
they're winning the series.
Yeah,
Well,
if Butler's there, I mean, it's shown. I mean,
Yes,
no one
definitely.
has been able to slow him down when he's been
Right.
So-
Julius Randle's going into the phone booth and putting on his AD freaking costume. That's what's happening. Good grief.
yeah, I mean, you have to give it up to Kevin Love too, man. Kevin Love coming back. He's
playing solid.
he's playing solid. He's passing the ball. He's got his rhythm back right now. So he's playing as a good assist player in the league.
Yeah.
Or with the Heat.
For sure. All right, the other one, obviously, Ed, the one that you've been watching, Sixers and Celtics. You know, obviously, to get into it, Embiid obviously was named MVP for the season. It was going to be either him or the Joker. I mean, ultimately, right? So,
Are we going to
But,
talk
I
about
mean,
that besides the
Giannis,
game?
I mean,
or-
Giannis was up there too, but yeah, I
he
think
was.
this was definitely Embiid's year. But I mean,
Like,
Joker,
why
yeah,
does
you're
Giannis
right. He
get
did
the
have a
love?
chance at getting 3 in a row.
for sure.
And
I mean,
he's balling right now.
do you think any of the comments from before, like with JJ Riddick and what was the other guy that were getting heated, that had something to do with the decision and
Was
the
it
choice?
Perkins?
Yeah, Perkins that had a choice overall, like in the pick of who's going to win. I mean, because Jokic to me was the number 1 pick for winning it. Now, I mean, to me, the only thing he had against Embiid that was lower with his points per game. He had I believe he had 24 points per game, 11 rebounds, and 9 assists. Embiid had 33 points per game, 10 rebounds, and 4 assists. I mean, that's only the difference there. So, yeah, both of them, you could say Embiid, they wouldn't get to where they're at without him, but they wouldn't do that without Joker either. So I feel Joker should have won it. But Embiid, congratulations to him. I mean, he does deserve it.
Only problem with Embiid too is he gets hurt a lot. You know, it's always something,
Yeah.
he didn't miss a whole lot of time this year, but he did miss some time, which
Well, he
didn't
only
end up
played.
mattering because he still won it. I thought that was gonna maybe affect the voting, but it didn't.
He only played what 80% of the games this year. So from what I saw on, from reading, doing my homework, that's all he played. So I guess with them, the way they're looking at it, if he didn't play that, they wouldn't have made it to where he's at right now.
Well, they're changing that, right? If they don't play a minimum of a certain amount of games, 65 or something like that, then they're not going to be eligible to receive some awards.
Well,
So
let's be
starting-
honest.
I think
The
you should have to play 85%.
The MVP vote is more politicized in a popularity contest than it's ever been before.
Well, Giannis took his team to the #1 seed too, and how come he didn't get more love?
Because they should vote for the MVP after the playoffs is what they should do, in my opinion.
So then you don't have a MVP for the
Regular
season and an
season
MVP of the playoffs. It's just an MVP.
That's what I think. When you think about MVP, I take the whole body of work into consideration.
They don't do an MVP of the playoffs. They just do an
The
MVP
entire
of the
season.
Well, isn't there, they always give out the award of the finals.
Right. But there's
So
no.
that might as well be the
playoff
MVP of the playoffs because you led your team to the championship.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
Yeah,
basically
okay.
what we're saying is if, let's just say, Jimmy Butler takes the Heat all the way to the finals and they win it, could he end up being the,
He's going to get the MVP final.
no. Could he be in mix scenario? He'd be the MVP of the league.
That sounds right to me.
I mean.
MVP should be
yeah.
should be the guy whose team won, and he was the most important part of making that team win. That's what the MVP.
So is
should
that
be.
Giannis?
Yeah, it's hard to argue with that.
No. I'm
Like-
saying in the scenario,
Yeah,
if Butler
He's
right now were to
in the
take it
playoffs.
all the way through and they won it, he'd be MVP of the season. The
see, yeah,
MVP
and-
of the NBA.
right.
be Jimmy
And
Butler.
he's a guy that turns it on come playoffs.
Right, but not
He's
during
never
the
up for
regular
MVP during the season. I get it, but so
Yeah.
it kind of plays to
It's
Jamal's
Holland.
point. Like it's a guy who steps up when it's time playoffs
Yeah.
and takes them all the way. And he seems to be that guy.
Right,
But then
and
you
then to your point, we can segue too, right? Because
show up in the playoffs.
What was that?
I said, then you can take the regular season off and just show up in the playoffs. Essentially,
Well,
No,
obviously
nobody
your
said he
numbers
took
gonna
it
have
off.
to be somewhere close, though.
Yeah, I mean, we're not saying he took
And
it off.
if you're the MVP and you take a season off, will you be in the playoffs?
no, I'm not saying the whole season. Like basically, you half-ass the whole season, and then you get to the playoffs, and you're like, okay, let's turn it up, right? Like flipping that switch that everybody talks about.
Well, I'm not saying he half-assed it either, though. Maybe
No,
he
no, I'm
like
not saying he did,
80
but I'm saying
80%
in
has.
that
I know.
scenario,
I guess
you
I
could
guess
technically-
maybe there needs to be something like, you're within the top 10 of votes at the end of the season to be even considered for MVP at the end of the playoffs. You know what I mean? Because let's face it, would have anybody have said Jimmy Butler was in the top 10 for MVP voting for the season? No,
Nope.
I don't see it. There were definitely other players above him.
maybe
know,
number
so-
10, but that's about it.
I don't even know if he would have been that high.
Yeah,
you
we
could have-
we have one of
you
our
could
comments
ar-
are saying that yes, Butler could have been considered for the MVP.
Name him.
Does anybody have Butler's
Okay.
numbers? I don't know his numbers. I haven't watched. a lot of basketball.
I don't know his numbers off the top of my head either, but
Is he top 10 scoring or top 10 in any of the three top categories?
I think he was probably top 10 scoring,
let's see.
or just under that.
Name the other 9. Well,
Hold on.
Well,
Ron,
I think it's top three,
AD.
right?
Booker.
Booker,
Booker, Shea Gilgeous-Alexander.
what's his name?
Yeah,
The guy
Ja,
that
Ja
Ja-
Morant, De'Aaron
Morant.
Fox,
Uh-oh.
Jason Tatum, Jalen Brown.
Uh-oh.
Yeah,
I could
he
have said
had
Trey
the top-
Young even. Trey Young probably had, well, I'm just saying, Anthony Edwards.
obviously Joker and Giannis too.
well, if
Right,
you're the leading
right.
shooter in your team, you're
Butler
a
was
consistent scorer,
I
you're
guess-
gonna be up there.
Butler was third. Oh no, wait, these are postseason. Sorry, postseason. Regular season. Let's go regular season here.
You're deep sea fishing
well, you could.
now.
Luka Doncic, Lillard, Shea Gill, Jason Tatum, Curry, Durant, LeBron. Where is Jimmy Butler at on this list?
So to Rick's point, if Butler took his team all the way and they won the finals, then I would consider him one of the people who should get the league MVP.
Jimmy Butler was 33rd in scoring in the league this year.
Ooh.
33rd.
See, this is
That
why you
hurts
have
my-
to
that
keep
hurts
it
my
separate.
argument.
Yeah, I was gonna say, this is why you gotta
That
keep it
hurts my
separate.
argument.
Yeah.
And he only played in 64 games.
Okay, never mind. Moving on.
So
Yeah. So regarding the Sixers,
Regular
Boston
season
Celtics
MVP
game.
and postseason MVP it is.
What do you think of this new award that they had this year, most clutch?
That's so subjective. What does that mean?
I know, that's what I'm like, I don't know,
Yeah.
most clutch, they could have done without that.
yeah,
Yeah.
and they gave it to De'Aaron Fox.
Yeah,
Yeah, and I think they said it was
For the
based off
most
of
part,
wasn't it
fourth quarter, right?
supposedly based off of like fourth quarter
Yeah.
and game on the line type thing.
yeah,
I think that's what they said it was, but I mean,
that's kind of.
whatever.
Hey, real quick, I don't mean to derail us, but I don't know if we ever talked about it. The whole thing with Giannis saying that the season wasn't a failure. Can we just get a quick whip around on how people think about that? And
I
I'll
do.
start.
Go
I
ahead.
think
Failed.
it's a failure.
Yep, I agree with you, sir. I said that on our chat thread. You know, it's a failure. You don't win, it's a failure. That's what it is.
Well, I think
Yeah, definitely
Well,
disappointing.
I think especially because you were the number 1 seed.
Yeah,
That's what everybody plays for. You want, you know,
Right.
home court advantage throughout the playoffs. You want, you know, all that kind of stuff. And they, you
But
know,
And you got it.
I mean, he did get hurt. I will give him that. He did get hurt. That's why he missed He missed 1 game, or was it 2?
Right, it was
He ended up
one.
missing.
no, he missed two.
Was it two?
So
Yeah,
yeah, and they
Oh,
won
that
one
was-
of the games without him. I do remember that. Because Middleton had a solid game, but like it's a failure. It is,
is.
like, you know.
when I first heard him
Can
say
you
it, I
still
was
learn
kinda
from
like-
it? Can you still learn from it? Yes.
Yeah.
but it's
When I
still a
first heard him
failure.
say it, I was like, okay, I see his point. That's
Yeah.
more of a life thing. I guess he's talking, you know, you're not a failure. The
Right.
more I thought about it, yeah, I agree. This was a failure for them.
Well,
No,
well,
if
not-
you see,
and-
if you
and-
see his
Now,
reply, he
yeah.
was bothered by the question because he obviously was told the same thing last year. But you can tell on his demeanor,
Yeah.
Right.
he just wanted to validate himself. And yeah, absolutely, and bringing up the guy's job, like, do you get a raise every fucking year?
well,
or
and then
whatever?
and yeah, and then
know,
not
you
only
know.
that, but 2 days later, your coach is fired.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, and he's conflating things too. He's a 1%er. His life is different than all the rest of our lives. None of us are 1%ers at our jobs. He's a 1%er. It's different.
Right.
Some
No,
might
I-
argue you might be, Jamal.
I'm not. I know
Yeah. So, like, I mean, if you take the Kings, for example, was their
Yeah.
season a failure? No. I think theirs was quite a success.
I think I would agree with you, Ed, on that, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I know they were
Well, because
they
nobody
were the 2
expected
seed,
that from-
right?
yeah.
yeah.
Right? They were the 2 seed.
Yeah,
No,
No, 3 seed.
Four.
three.
Three?
No.
The 3.
No, they were okay.
Phoenix was the 4.
You're right. Yeah, 3.
So
Either way, I mean, they
Either-
hadn't been to the playoffs.
no, they
how
they
long?
played well above what anybody was really
Expected.
anticipating
Expected, yeah.
or expecting, right? And then to push the Warriors to 7 games also
Mhm.
when they're just a team full of youth,
Yeah.
right? I mean, is to me, I would say great job looking into next year. What do we do next? You know, I mean, Mike
Right.
Brown, obviously, he was named coach of the year and deservingly so based off of where they were the year before and where they
Sure.
were this year. So, yeah, I mean, to me, that Sacramento, great. Milwaukee, not so much. I mean,
But the thing is, there was expectations for Milwaukee. Everyone was saying they were a championship.
oh yeah,
contender.
no, for sure. I
Um,
mean,
with Sacramento, it's still a disappointing season for them because if you're the 3 seed, like you're expected to at least make the second round. And even
yeah,
though
but I
play
mean, I think,
Sacramento and you're
but I
playing-
don't think anybody was expecting.
No,
when
I
when the
agree.
pairings
Nobody
came
was
out,
expecting-
I don't think anybody was expecting the Kings to
Right.
beat the Warriors.
Well, it's
I
like
think
when-
everybody saw what the Warriors were this season. Like we've all
Right.
talked about, they don't play well on the road. They're
Right.
mainly a home team, blah, 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 blah. But, you know, the experience of the Warriors compared to the Kings, I don't think any of us saw were picking the Kings to win that series,
no,
really.
nobody was.
So, you know, the fact that they went 7, and honestly, after they won the first 2, I thought, oh, they got a serious chance at knocking off the Warriors, but
Right.
it didn't come to fruition. So, but anyway, sorry. Getting back to where we were, Sixers and Celtics. What do we see? I mean, that's one of the games today, right? We got Celtics and Sixers, and we've got the Nuggets and Suns for their game fours. I mean,
I don't see the Sixers winning another game, maybe one, but
Yeah.
think
it's
Celtics
tough to
got 'em
see
at
them
this
winning
point.
another
I see them winning today at home, and but I don't see them winning the series. I do see this game going game 6 with the Boston Celtics.
Well, I thought Harden was going to be the Harden we saw in game 1, and he's turned into not Harden. So it hinges on him. We know Embiid's going to show up.
What made you think that Harden was going to be here?
Well, I didn't think he was going to be 45-point Harden. I thought he was going to be 30 to 35-point Harden, 35 points, 8 assists, that guy, and I thought he was going to ratchet it up, but I don't know that he can do it like he could before, like Rockets Harden.
Yeah.
I mean, but there was some motivation there for the Celtics too, because they're like, hey, look, he's getting his trophy today. They think they're going to win. Let's go out there and spoil the party,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
At-
Harden, he
at
scored
their
like 10, 12 points in the last two games, right? Something like that.
Yeah, he's a choke artist come playoffs.
So let me ask you guys this. Does Jaylen Brown stay on the Celtics for much longer?
I don't think so. I think he's disgruntled. He wants to be the guy.
Yep.
yeah, I saw, Rick posted in the chat that Giannis to New York. I don't
Knicks?
see him going anywhere. Not right
I
now.
saw
unless he
something that
forces
said Giannis
himself
to LA.
Yeah, I'll take him in a lot.
to the Clippers.
No, to us.
How do you pull that off?
Clippers.
I don't know how you would.
He's
pull
a
that
free
off.
agent in 2
Same way they
seasons.
pulled the
LeBron's
Kareem
leaving.
thing off.
LeBron's
Right.
leaving.
Well, in
after
2
this.
years, I could see it, but I mean,
that's what they're saying.
Next year is what I mean. So,
Was
anyways,
he under contract for another 2 years?
Yeah, he's under
That's
contract
what-
for 2, I think.
yeah, that's what Mick just said. So, all right, Western Conference Nuggets Suns. What are you guys seeing with that one?
I can see the Nuggets winning it, man.
I still like
Yeah.
the Nuggets. I like the
Yeah.
Nuggets.
So do I. I thought
they.
I thought they were going to pull out that game
I thought they were too.
the other night.
I was like,
I thought
whoa.
they were going to pull it out. I mean, at first it was like, and especially in our text chain that we always have going on,
Yeah.
everybody was like, "Oh man, Suns are done." But
that's
then
what I saw. That's what I heard.
came
They ended
back,
up pulling
yeah.
it up. Yeah, they
they
pulled
pulled
it
it
off.
out.
Well,
Devin Booker blew up.
I would argue that the Suns are a better team without Chris Paul at this point, just because he's a liability. He's not the same defender that he is. And there's, you want the
Yeah.
majority of the shots to go through Booker and KD anyway.
KD, yeah,
And they get
Well,
younger guys out there quicker.
shots,
when
though.
they
Well,
have
they
younger guys
did
out.
win without Chris Paul, so they're playing at home today. So we can see what they do without Chris Paul's now coming back today, correct?
No.
So,
no, he's out again.
So who's
He's out
taking his
again.
place right now?
I think one of the Cams, or I can't remember who the starting point guard is, but I know he's younger and quicker and more
I think
athletic.
it's Cameron Payne.
I think
Cameron
so.
Payne, yeah.
Yeah,
So I mean, he was doing good, and he's one of the reasons he was pushing the team. He was, commanding, calling the plays. So I think if he keeps doing that, I think they can get one on home. I don't think that they're going to beat Denver overall, though. I think this game can go game 6 as well, and I see Denver winning it.
Is it just me or does Cameron Payne look like that sloth from those Ice Age movies? Right? That cartoon?
damn,
The one that John Leguizamo plays?
yeah.
Just saying.
Rick threw something out here that DeAndre
I was gonna
Ayton
say that
doesn't care
too,
about
Rick,
the
so-
Suns.
I think
Well,
Rick
they
knows
didn't
he's more plugged into the Phoenix.
Yeah.
Suns.
They didn't want to
it was-
sign him, but
yeah,
somebody
that's-
offered him a contract and they had to match it if they wanted to keep him.
Right.
So he like if they did that to me, I'd be like, these guys don't want me here anyway, so it doesn't matter what I do.
Well, where would you rank Ayton as far as a center in the league? He's in the bottom half of the good centers in the league, isn't he?
Mhm.
Yeah,
He
I
can't
guess
shoot
so.
the three. He's not a stretch 5, and that's where the league's going.
Yep.
yeah.
But Al Horford wasn't that either in the beginning, and now he's shooting the 3 quite frequently.
So what your point is?
Practice next birthday.
he could develop a shot, is what I'm saying.
Oh,
He
okay.
can start shooting from
He
3.
can develop a shot. Well, we've been saying
can
that
develop-
about Ben Simmons for fucking
Oh, it's-
5 years.
Shoot for
I can develop a shot too.
Uh-huh,
Good
right.
point.
No, I'm saying if he was interested,
A
if he
tequila
wanted
shot.
to improve.
Here it is. No, I hear you, Bob.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, Rick. He got $136 million. I mean,
Wowzers.
the team matched it.
But they didn't want
You're
to.
getting paid. Well, if they didn't want to, then they didn't have to. They could have let him walk.
Then they didn't want to lose that, right? But who knows? They might have been better off because then they would have still had what's his name
Who?
who went to the Nets, Bridges and Cam Johnson.
Mikal Bridges.
Yeah,
Well, no, they still would have had to trade to get KD.
to get KD. Yeah,
That was the trade. So they wouldn't necessarily still have those guys just because
true.
they already had those guys with
So they
signing.
missed them now for sure.
Yeah. So I'm sure that, they hate that trade too. That's what Rick said. All right, pushing. Let's get to Lakers Warriors, obviously.
What up?
The one that everybody on here is mostly concerned about. So Lakers are up 2-1. 2 good performances and 1 bad performance so far for the Lakers.
Well, the bad
So-
performance was at Golden State. So that's
But
to me, that's a
one of the
good
good
thing.
one was too.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
Right.
you know,
Well,
it's
my thing on that, if AD keeps playing the way he did on game 1 and game 3, we're gonna win this series. He's just got to come out to play. I mean, second game they were probably tired, I'm sure, and they didn't give it as much as they should have. But
I think they
guy's
didn't-
playing like a beast out there.
I think they didn't force the ball like they did in game 1 and game 3. There's a difference there. First
Honestly,
game,
yeah.
third game, we were at the free throw line a lot. And
Yes.
that's by getting the ball inside, being aggressive. And they didn't do any of that in game 2.
No, which
I
is
think
what
part of it
They
too
were
is they get
content to just
comfortable
win the
because they
first
stole.
game.
Oh, go ahead.
Yes,
No,
I
they
agree,
were
Ed.
content to win one game there, and then they were like, okay, we can take game 2 off, get a little bit of rest,
Right.
and then we'll come back in game 3 and take the lead in the series again.
and we'll take another
That's
rest
not
on
a
game 4.
championship mentality.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah,
exactly.
no, yeah, exactly. It's not.
championship mentality, but that's the way they've been playing, and it's
Which
it's
is
hard- it's hard to see
nerve-wracking
because
as a
you
Laker
think
fan.
of the Lakers
because-
of the '80s, and that's not how they were.
because AD can stub his toe and be out for the rest of the season. That's why it's
You know what I don't like about that either? The only one that should be needing rest is LeBron.
LeBron,
He's
yes.
old. Even
Yeah.
AD, I mean, come on, you're what, 32 at the most? Like he should.
he's 30.
Okay, no, that makes my point even more. Then there should be no,
Hey, help
tired,
learn.
oh, give him rest. He's
Exactly.
tired, type of shit. You're a fucking young man. Get out there and ball, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's just soft, bro. Like if when he gets hurt, he's out for a while. I mean,
When he
AD
falls down, he screams like he got shot, and then the team's like, "Come on, dude, get up."
and I'm the
You can
the
see
first
the rest of the Lakers are even like, "Get up, let's
I'm
go."
the first one to say
You're
that
saying
he
he's
was
pulling a
soft.
Paul Pierce?
Yeah.
Possibly.
So I'm gonna make it simple. My heart says Lakers in 7. My head says Dubs in 7. That's where I'm gonna leave it.
Well,
You
you-
changed
you-
it from
you-
the 6?
You can't hold
Yeah.
down Golden
Because
State
we
Warriors.
won game 3. I'd expect us to win game 3.
Yeah, you know what? I'll be honest with you. I didn't tell anyone this, but I was thinking the Warriors in 6. I think the Lakers are going to win this series now. Maybe in 6. So
Yeah. No, I
think
see
they won
this
game
game
4.
going.
Go
I see.
3-1.
I see it going to game 7. You have to understand Golden State Warriors. They have 28 series playoff
Yeah,
series
they're-
that they played, and they at least always won one game away.
they're
So
hardened. Yeah, they're hardened.
we have to expect they might come out to win today. So, but hopefully not.
You mean tomorrow?
Oh, tomorrow, correct. Tomorrow. Thank you, corrector.
Does everybody agree that this game 4 is probably the pivotal game in the series?
Yeah.
Not just, I mean, if
Yes.
it goes 2-2, do we pucker at that point? Because I'm going to be puckering. at that
I'm going to
point.
be worried if we go 2-2.
Yeah, I think the Lakers
Brian
need to win
Windhorst
this.
said it on one of the shows. He was saying that whoever wins game 4, this was before the series started. Whoever wins game 4 is going to win the series, and I agree. And that's why I think the Lakers are going to come out and they're going to win game 4 and go up 3-1.
Do we put any merit in the Lakers being 25-0 when they win game 1, or does that go out the window? Because I think that streaks are made to be broken, but I'm a pessimist.
For sure.
Well, streaks are made to be broken because they always are. no one stays
Eventually,
undefeated.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, at some point, the Warriors streak is going to come to an end, also. So whether it's this series or possibly the next,
The series.
I'm hoping that it's this series. Obviously, as a Lakers fan, but it needs to happen this series, and then let's see what happens after that. Right? I mean,
Sure.
Suns or Nuggets. I mean, I don't want to put the cart before the horse, but
Yep.
it's I think both of those, if we get to that series and we get to play either one of them, I think that both of them would be a great series also.
I,
And we have
I
to talk
want
about
I
those
want
mismatches.
Lakers Suns, don't we? I want KD, LeBron for it all. That's what I want.
I
And
mean,
think we have
that's
more
probably the
questions
one
than
that most people want, especially the media and TV.
Right.
I don't know if it's going to necessarily go that way though.
Well,
Yeah,
there's-
So,
there's-
but you never know. You never know. So, all right. Two last little things here. We did mention it. Budenholzer being fired by the Bucks. I threw that out there in the chat this week that 3 out of the last 4 championship coaches have all been
Really?
fired.
Well, that shows you how the Buck season was actually a failure. They're fighting the coach.
Well,
Well,
it's just
at one
crazy to
point-
me that like
at
a
one
lot of
point-
times these coaches don't get, like you win the
Like you
chip
get-
and you're gone the
Right.
next year or the year after.
Yep.
It's such a win now league. I mean, I guess it's always sort of been that way, but I think sometimes you look at some of these teams and it's like, where were they before they had this
Right.
coach? And then who are you going to bring in that makes it any better? I mean, obviously they're talking like for the Bucks, Nick Nurse taking over, possibly the
I heard
Raptors coach that won it.
The ex-coach of the Celtics too.
Well, he said with the
He's going to
Rockets.
the Rockets.
He already
Oh, he's
signed with the
going to Rockets?
Rockets. Yeah.
Who's the coach for San Antonio Spurs?
It's still
Popovich.
Okay, so let me bring this a point to that. I mean, do you guys feel like having a coach there kind of starts to bond with the team eventually? I mean, you can't just bring in a coach 1 year with a team and have them expect. Obviously, the coach calls the shots, but
Mhm.
I mean, it's a chemistry thing. So Popovich has been there for years. They don't let him go.
Well,
You know what I
you're right, Luda, but it's a slippery slope, right? Because there's no Phil Jacksons and Popoviches in the league
Correct.
anymore. But what
Correct.
happens is their message starts to get stale, and younger players, you know how kids are, they just start tuning them out. So that's really where like they start going to front office and saying, I don't want to play for this guy, and then that's how the ball gets rolling on that.
Well, the problem is with giving the players so much fucking power.
Well, part of it
But
too is
they've always had
Popovich
power.
won 5 rings for the
Right. And I guess it
Spurs.
also depends on ownership, right?
Respect.
Ownership obviously
Right,
loves Popovich, respects
Correct.
him. And when Pop is ready to say, I'm done, I guess that's when they'll say, okay, they're moving on. Unless they just have some horrific year. But I mean, I think everybody knew where the Spurs were going to be this year. So,
Irrelevant.
yeah. So we'll see. I mean, I don't understand all the quickness to just fire somebody, but if they felt that Budenholzer, I know Rick said that he placed his entire livelihood on Giannis. Well, wouldn't any coach? I
Sure,
mean,
you should.
I mean, whoever the next coach is going to put their livelihood in Giannis also,
Correct.
because
Well,
that's
the
what you
Spurs
have to
did that with
do.
Duncan, right?
What's that?
I said the Spurs did that with Duncan, and that's why Popovich got his 5 championships.
So, all right, last thing here with basketball, just in general, LeBron's son, Bronny, committed to the USC Trojans over the weekend. It was sort of expected. It's been talked about for quite a
Wait a
while.
minute. Bob, why, Bob?
Yeah.
What happened? What happened?
Didn't you say you're a UCLA basketball fan?
Right.
you're a USC football
Remember,
fan?
see, that's what I told you guys about
I'm
the
just
last
asking.
time. You guys said, Bob, why don't you just go all in on SC? And I said, okay, I don't want to hear it later that you guys were like, oh, but I thought you were.
Bob,
this."
I don't recall this
Yeah, I don't.
conversation.
When did you
because
say
I-
that you were all in?
Was
Please.
He
that
said it.
way,
I'm all
way back in
USC.
season 1, episode 1 or
No,
2?
I would say about a year ago or
A year ago we did.
A
Yeah,
year?
but I would say about a year.
I think
about
it's
a year.
probably been
Like,
longer than that.
You guys got short-term memory.
I think we were
know
still.
over
I
and
think we were
over and
still
over.
under COVID restrictions.
I think you got COVID brain, Bob.
But Bob's all USC, bro.
Okay,
But-
all right,
but God,
I
boy.
said
Bob, we don't want you supporting our basketball team.
We
Stay
don't,
away.
we don't. Exactly.
I just said, yeah.
So Rick, you are correct. Bronny is going with the highest NIL value that he can get, which is staying right here in Southern California and playing for SC.
Yeah,
Okay.
why
That's for
wouldn't
sure
you?
what it
Got
is.
cool
Why
with,
wouldn't you?
Yeah.
everything in LA, so why not?
Well, yeah, I mean, like Rick is saying, $5.6 million NIL to stay.
So
I mean, come on, do that or go to the G League. Because let's face it, Bronny was not going to be playing in the league next year.
Brian, did
They were talking
UCLA?
about him going to Ohio State, right?
Well, he had
Yeah.
Ohio State and Oregon too. But did UCLA try to go get him?
Probably
They had
not.
conversations with him.
I'm sure a lot.
They
of
had
teams-
conversations with him. He goes and plays at Poly all the time. with everybody else. All the pros go to UCLA and play. The pickup games there are
They are the
famous.
sponsor for the Lakers facilities too, for crying out loud.
Yeah, UCLA Medical Center
UCLA,
is.
no, good grief.
So UCLA Health, yeah. But it's have fun across
I
town.
get it. I get
But how
it.
much money we
They'll
making?
they'll raise another. We made it to the NCAA tournament banner next year and bounce after the first or second round. It's no big deal. So, anyways,
That's
all right,
right.
moving on. Real quick, just two little things here. NFL news. The schedule comes out this week, boys.
Yes, I saw.
So May 11th.
There's gonna be a lot of Jets primetime games, I bet.
Oh, I'm sure that you're going to see a lot of Sunday night, Monday night games for the Jets.
Ready.
Don't even start that crap,
Oh,
Mick.
boy.
You
You know, I
better
like
still-
that black and green. I'm just saying.
Well, that's old school though.
You'll see
That's
New York
college
Jets on
days.
Monday night and Thursday night games for
Yeah.
sure this season.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with the schedule. Sometimes those that were in the Super Bowl last year, somebody always seems to get an easier path and one gets a tougher path. So let's see, is it Kansas City or Philadelphia who gets the easier and tougher path?
Let's ask this. Is somebody gonna win their division 2 years in a row in the freaking East?
I'm going to say Philadelphia probably is going to go ahead and
I
win
think
the
so, right?
NFC East this year. They are stacked, that's for sure.
Yeah,
Wow.
definitely.
And then they drafted well yet again. So,
Yeah, they did. We'll see if it
Yeah.
helps them this time.
Let me just remind you of a movie quote, guys. Any
ahead.
given Sunday. Okay. Anything can happen.
That was
Oh,
Well, not for the Cardinals. Let's be honest.
they need a lot of Saturday games.
Yeah, we mean Saturday. We could probably win on Saturday in the Pac-12.
Who's going to win the Super Bowl, Luda?
Rams.
Stop.
I mean, what do you want me to tell you? Okay.
Something that's actually truthful.
Well, anything can be true.
Like Kansas City again?
They might give a Ram away at the Super Bowl halftime show.
I'll take that. I'm in the market for one of those right now.
Yeah. All right. Two other things real fast. Those that are interested in racing, I know Rick is. Miami Grand Prix is today at 12:30. I don't know if you've seen any of like the stuff on social media, but they've turned that thing into a pool party. Literally, there are cabanas and pools around the track. Are you
Let's hope
shitting
there's no
me?
accidents.
That is
That's
nuts.
Yeah,
fucking ridiculous.
exactly.
Yeah.
That is
Be
nuts.
tragic.
And
Yeah.
then lastly, for those of us that are boxing fans, Canelo Alvarez handled John Ryder last night. It went the full distance, but that fight could have been over a lot earlier, I think.
Yeah, I think he carried him a little
And
for the
the
fans because it was in Mexico.
damage was done early and often.
Yeah,
Somehow
Is he
it went
pound for
12
pound in
rounds.
that weight class? Is there anybody that can challenge him?
Benavidez maybe.
Oh,
Yeah.
maybe. Yeah.
He just
And
beat
that's
Plant.
I know, but that's still a maybe.
Yeah.
You know,
That's
like
a maybe.
I mean,
Yeah,
and
I
it
mean
depends.
Canelo's getting older.
He is.
That'd be a
He's
good
what?
fight.
He's
Good fight.
32.
Yeah,
I think Canelo's 32 now. So
That sounds
Yeah.
funny, huh?
yeah, I know, right? Like,
Canelo's
oh,
getting
yeah.
older.
he's old.
32.
Oh,
he's
he's-
32. Yeah.
So,
For
uh,
boxing, I guess it's old.
right.
Real quick
Right.
side note also, I don't know if you guys heard, Tank Davis ain't going to be fighting for a few months. He got put
What
on
up?
house arrest for 90
Oh, yeah.
days
For
What was
that
the reason?
accident.
that hit and run incident.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I mean, 90 days.
yeah.
I
I mean, he
mean-
wasn't going to fight for a few months anyway. So,
And,
Yeah, I was gonna
and
say-
house arrest? Oh
Yeah,
my
I-
gosh,
yeah.
come
So
on,
he's
dude.
still going to train. He'll still,
Yeah.
yeah.
he'll still be able to train and everything.
Yeah.
I've got a theory on my fighters. I want them to be dangerous and lawless because that makes them more scary, in my opinion. I don't
Yeah.
want a clean cut fighter.
yeah.
Yeah, but you just don't want him to go to jail for a long time.
Yeah, they
Oh.
got to get a good attorney. They
A
can,
la
they can,
Tyson.
yeah, exactly.
Drugs.
Turn your
That
front
ruined
by the way.
Tyson's career.
Yeah. I think Tank had a good attorney.
Yeah, because he only got 90 days in a hit and
Yeah,
run.
house arrest,
Yeah.
The funny thing is the accident was from 2020, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yes.
dude, what the hell? Like, just
Well,
now.
you know,
you're coming out with
also, what I did hear also, so this might not be over. He has another court date at the end of the month. I think May 26th for
Okay.
Same thing.
battery. I think battery against his girlfriend or
Ooh.
someone. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
which boxer doesn't have a battery charge against his girlfriend ever? You know what I
Oh,
mean?
yeah, I
All
know,
those
man. I know.
motherfuckers
Most of them are
do.
street dudes. That's why
Yeah.
they're in boxing.
Right.
Yeah.
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 live that kind of life.
I don't condone, when I said lawlessness, I don't condone violence against women. I just want to put that out there.
I
Oh,
agree.
so you got stipulations on them
Yeah.
being lawless,
Yes,
right?
sir. Yes, sir.
All right. Well, hey, Mick, I'm going to turn this over to you. I'm saying that's wrapping up our sports segment.
Okay.
We don't really
Well,
have
before
a
you do that,
second segment
can I say one thing?
this
Can I say
week.
one
What?
thing?
Go ahead.
Before
Go
you
ahead,
say
Bob.
that, how about that dunk on freaking Durant? Was that not insane?
That was insane, but it wasn't as bad as the dunk on my bad. You said Durant. I thought you were talking about AD, buddy. My bad.
Well, that
Yeah.
dunk on AD was not pretty
it
either.
It wasn't pretty, but it wasn't as bad as Durant. Durant was like, there's a poster out there right now, me, for that one.
Rick,
was a good
You got fucking crammed on.
Rick's throwing some stuff
yeah.
in here. Usher and Chris Brown got into a fight last night.
With Usher? Yeah.
Usher got jumped.
Yeah, I don't like Usher's chances. Chris Brown's kind of crazy.
Yeah, he's out there. He smacks women too, though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's one
They'll
of those.
probably just have a dance off.
He's another lawless.
They're gonna have a dance off.
Yeah.
I don't think Usher could win that either.
Probably not. Yeah.
Yeah. So, all right, Mick, let's turn this over to you, man.
All right. Well,
going?
thanks. Hey, guys, shifting gears. Let's get into some current event topics really quick. First one right off the bat, and this happened even before I put the topics out there. We had that mass shooting in Texas.
Another one.
Another one at a strip mall. Ridiculous, in my opinion. Do you guys think there should be any parameters on the Second Amendment? What do you guys think?
I mean, as far as parameter, I mean, what Second
Like
Amendment,
what? Yeah, like what?
the right to bear arms, right? So,
Right,
what other parameters can you? I mean,
Well,
look,
right now there's stipulations and they vary by state, right? Like you have background checks, some have 32 weeks. It's
Some
all
have
over the
none
place.
now, like
Right,
Florida.
some have none. It's not uniform, right? And really, I think the only parameter that I think we should revisit with that is like doing like every year you register your guns, you got to do like a mental kind of check. I don't know what that is. They'd probably have to write something up, but make it uniform across every state. I'm really not a proponent of the Second Amendment per se, or banning the Second Amendment, because if someone wants to get a gun, they can get a gun. So to say we're going to take your guns away or you can't have this or that, that is what it is. One other thing, AR-15s, I don't think we need them. I mean, that would be one other thing that I would take out of there, but those are just my thoughts. I want to hear what you guys have to think.
well, I mean,
we need an AR-15 in LA.
Wait, say that again?
God.
The reference to-
He was going to the
Austin
Lakers.
Reeves.
Austin Reeves 15.
Well, they can take that away from us because right now he's not doing anything, but that's neither here nor there.
No, look, it's a slippery slope with that, because you have the right to bear arms, and as you said, Jay, anybody can get a gun, but there's people that get it legally that's registered. So if you use it out in the street, it's going to come back to you. There's people that get it off the street that it's unmarked. So those are the dangerous ones to me. The ones that are not registered because they use it, they can't trace it back to that shooter or whatever it is. So to me, it's maybe there has to be a uniform in all the states as far as the parameters and the rules of carrying a gun. Because Texas, you can carry a gun openly. I mean, you can.
There's a lot of places that you can do. Open,
Arizona, I think, might be one of those as well.
Florida.
Yeah, so
There's a lot of states that do that. I mean, you can do carry concealed here in California if you have the right license.
right.
So, but
Scary.
It's just so weird because what most people talk about is infringement, right? It's always you're infringing on my Second Amendment, right? But the issue is everything else that we ever want, we have to be licensed for, we have to be trained on, we have to, you know what I mean? Like,
Right.
In order to drive a vehicle, you have to go through so many months of, training and testing, and then you take the final test and you get your license. And then guess what? That license isn't forever.
Nope.
Yeah. Got to
be
get it
revoked.
renewed. You have to, and all that kind of stuff. I don't see why we don't have, like Mick is saying, something across the board federally that says this is at least the minimum that has to be done. And every say, whether that be it's a 14-day background check with, and then maybe it's 6 months of testing, being trained on how to use a firearm properly, how to, store it properly, because that's the other thing. So many times you're hearing that the parent didn't have it locked up properly, and a child got their hands on it, or an adolescent. I shouldn't say a child, but But
Yeah,
it does
I think
happen.
they do.
Child.
Don't
It
they
does
do
happen because
background
there was
checks
a
here in
child just
California?
recently. There was a child here just recently who shot a teacher. He was like
Yes.
a second
Yeah.
grader or something like
Yep.
that. I mean, it's just
Yep.
insane. So I'm with Rick's chiming in a little bit on this one. He's saying it ain't slippery. We need to change the law because it's killing our kids.
Sure.
It's just, to me, it's just killing. And the other thing is that, it's become too politicized also, I think, because it's so much to the right and so much to the left. One is everybody's protected by the NRA because they take money from them, and the other one is trying to say ban as much as possible, right? I think the issue is ultimately it boils down to what's going to be best for our society in the long run. And
Yep.
I think that's, putting bans on certain weapons. We did it back during Clinton's era. When Clinton was president, there was a ban and mass shootings dropped nearly 43%. Once they lifted that ban, it's risen 236%.
Jeez.
Nick, let me ask you this.
And the other
How-
thing too is most people, if you hear most Republicans, they constantly always say it's a mental thing. It's a mental thing. Yeah, but they're the assholes who cut almost all mental health, all mental health dollars that are out there for people. It's just crazy.
Nick,
So if you get rid of AR-15s, which is a semi-automatic weapon,
It is.
are you going to get rid of other rifles?
it'll start leading to that. Let's get rid
Exactly.
of fucking shotguns.
Yeah,
Let's
and
get
then
rid
no.
of this,
Yeah, I'm not
Right.
with that at all.
So,
But
Nick,
I'm no hardcore gun guy, don't get me
Yeah.
wrong, but it's not like you're rolling around with an AK-47 where you can just,
yeah, when it comes down to the zombie apocalypse, I want as many fucking guns as I could possibly have. You know what I mean? I don't give a shit. That's my thing. But Nick, real quick.
Does California do background checks right now?
That's
They
what I
do.
was
I
gonna
thought they
ask.
did.
Yes.
Nick,
Yes,
you
they
got
do.
you got a gun,
There-
right?
Yeah.
California
How,
is like
how
the
easy was it, or what was the process?
No,
on getting
it's a background check, and me, I don't even like guns. I have it just because if I have it, it's better to have it or have it and not need it than to need it and not have it. But
Right.
I'm not a big gun proponent. But yes, there's a back. California is one of the most stricter states on getting.
You have to register every year or every 2 years? Or
No,
something?
every 5 years you have to re-register and you have to go take the test. It's about gun safety. It's really
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
cheat on the test. It's stupid. We're in a room and we're all just Veronica's cheating off of me, but it is what it is, right?
Anybody
Way
can
to throw
pass
yourself
that
out there,
test,
buddy.
yeah. I think they should do, like
It's,
you said,
tell the
maybe
truth.
Do
more
they
of an
make you practice
extensive
the gun
test.
before?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think
Yeah.
the test should be done at like a shooting range. Let's
Right.
see
Right.
how you
Should.
actually operate
Right.
the
There should
gun.
be a mental test too every time you register.
I don't see
Absolutely.
anything wrong with that
Yeah, I don't see
either.
anything wrong with that.
I mean, but people will say, well, hold on,
Yeah.
Uh,
Hey, real quick, is
Yeah.
an armed society a polite society?
I think it'd be more
I think
know.
it's
on edge society.
more in order, maybe a more in order society.
I think you'd watch what you say.
You
more
think
than the
so?
people. Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know.
I don't know. It's
I
a little
carry-
crazy.
I think some
carry-
of these guys, like, say for instance, all the shit that's been happening in Beverly Hills. I'm just something off the top of my head.
What's
Sure.
going
You
on?
know, guys are like running up on people that are sitting there in a cafe or they just came out. of
Right. And they're
something.
robbing them.
They're robbing them right then and there. If they know that everybody around there could possibly have a gun with them too, are they going to do that? I think
Okay,
I tend to think
Well,
not,
it depends
not
on how
as
bad
much.
they
Let me
want
ask-
it.
Let me ask you this.
Depends on how bad they
We
want
all-
it. They
we
could
all
easily
have
just
cell
come in and
phones, right?
shoot.
We all have cell
Okay.
phones and we all
Right.
have cameras on our cell phones.
Right.
So does that prevent people from doing stupid shit out in the streets? No, everybody has a cell phone and shit's recorded. They still do stupid shit.
Yeah,
Like-
but Bob, these guys are running up on people with a
Right.
mask, so that doesn't matter.
But
They have
that's what I'm
masks
saying.
on.
Just because you could assume that they have a gun, but they might not necessarily have a gun. So you could still run up on them
But-
because you have one.
You don't
And
think it would
still
be a
go
little
wrong.
bit of a deterrent, Bob?
Yeah,
A
but
little bit of
if
a deterrent?
It could be,
If-
but not necessarily. Some people won't care. They're like, look, I'll run up to them before they can pull out their gun and then I can shoot them, right?
but it doesn't mean that person's going to have a gun. What about the 20 of the other 50 people sitting around there?
But that
I
still doesn't
agree.
mean that those people will actually pull their gun.
Right. How many
Someone
people do
will.
you see
I
actually get
guarantee
brave when you
someone
see
will.
that? How many times do you see that on video where somebody pulls up and the other people are looking and they're fucking like, oh shit, let me grab my baby and run away or some shit like that? You know what I mean?
But they don't have a gun on them. I'm
Right.
not saying everyone will.
And what
There'll
what
be
if they
the-
do? What if
those
there's some
ones.
people that might have a gun on them?
Well,
and
let's
they
put
just
it to
don't use
let's put it to this panel. If you had a gun, you saw somebody roll up on somebody, are you playing hero or are you getting the hell out of there?
Shitty,
I'm playing
shitty,
hero.
bang, bang, nigga.
Not
That's what
me.
I'm
I'm
doing.
out. I'm not a hero.
So then why do
Wow.
you have a gun? Like if you had a gun to protect
If
yourself,
you had a
right?
gun on
and
you, right?
somebody's there, why wouldn't you use it?
No, I'm saying someone's accosting someone else and I have a gun. That's not my responsibility. I'm not the cops.
I just,
So
I,
I mean, yeah,
okay,
there's
so if
something
you
to say
saw
about
someone
that too. Yeah, I mean,
beat
you're
up,
right.
you wouldn't help out?
No, I'm not a hero. That's why I didn't go sign up for the force.
I saw a
Hey.
fight at Costco between some Costco employee and some Costco customer. And once I saw that the one guy was beating the shit out of the other guy, I was like, all right, dude, you got him. And I held him. And the funny thing is no Costco employee came over to me to be like, hey, we got this. Don't worry about it.
You're
If I
6'3",
didn't step in,
I'm 5'8".
who knows what?
hey, Rick brought up a point too in regards to this, you know, looking at neighboring countries or countries abroad who don't have guns, how's their societal standpoint? You know, what's it look like there?
Yeah,
Safe,
he's not
it's
wrong.
safe, it's safe.
There's more guns than people in America. He's not wrong.
Yes. Right.
But
you know,
Neighboring countries like Mexico.
actually, no, but here's the thing. Mexico has a ban on guns and they're pissed at us because all their guns are coming from California and we're pissed at them because all the drugs are coming from Mexico. So it's a
It's an
crazy
even swap.
dichotomy.
It's just an easy trade, man.
So yeah. All right. Well, we'll never get we're not going to solve that.
I don't
one
think
today.
this problem's ever going to be solved.
I
We're
don't
not going to
think so.
solve that one today.
Look,
So-
if
That's why you guys should all get your own CCW and protect your own house.
Rick
Right.
said
If we
exclude
could
Mexico.
put regulations on women not being able to get abortions, then why can't we do that for guns?
because the NRA won't let you,
Right.
and they're the most powerful lobby in the world, or at least in our
Horrible.
country.
Yeah.
All right, let's change gears. We're not gonna, but actually a good segue. So Gascon, does anybody know who George Gascon is?
He's the LADEA or something like that,
The
correct?
Yep.
DA for LA. He's got a no juveniles tried as adult directive. That's basically across the board. And what do you guys think about that?
Where no juvenile gets tried. I think that was his
Tried
first
as an
original
adult.
plan, right? Where
It's tried. That's what he ran on. That's his
right.
platform.
Well, I believe he's
Right.
changing his mind because based on the last year, that's what he's seen. I mean, these kids are committing more horrific crimes than adults are doing.
Well,
Yeah,
like
he's changed
Brian
it
brought
in-
up earlier, right? He said how a kid came in and shot his teacher and shit. So, like, for them not to be tried as an as an adult,
No, but that kid was like 6.
Yeah,
Can't
that's
try that
different.
kid
That
as
you
an
can't
adult.
try that kid as
And
an
he was
adult,
that kid
but-
wasn't even in LA. But my
No.
point is, Gascon's pretty much stayed to that. There's been certain circumstances when things have been egregious where he's reversed course, but he's told his
Right.
DAs, do not pursue adult charges for anybody, for any minors that commit crimes. And my theory on that is you've already come out and said that. So if I'm a leader
Yeah.
of a gang or whatever, I'm just going to recruit young people to go do
Yep.
most heinous things and know, look, in 9 years, I'll have 500 grand waiting for you and you're out. Like I don't know. That's my thing. I want to hear what you guys have to say.
I'll start. I mean, look, I think it depends on the situation.
Yeah.
And maybe the age of the kid. A 6-year-old probably doesn't know what he's really doing with the gun and he's probably playing and the teacher got him and shot him, whatever. But if you have a 13, 14-year-old that commits murder, he needs to be tried as an adult. I mean, he can think. Maybe he may not have the father,
You know
the
right from
mother.
wrong at that point.
Right, you know right from wrong. So you're
Yeah.
going to shoot somebody, and you know what you're doing. Whether you're being recruited by a gang and that's your initiation or whatever the fuck it is, you're being tried as an adult. You committed an adult act, you get tried as an adult.
Well,
Yeah.
you committed murder knowing what you were doing.
Right.
Different
So-
if it's like you're in a fight with somebody and something happens, right? That was just a spur of the moment thing. Something was planned out. If it's been planned out,
Throw the
you should
book
be
at him.
charged. Throw the
Yeah,
book at them. Exactly.
absolutely. Yeah,
And I hate to say it, and I know some people are against it, but nowadays most people are like, I'll take that 25 years, type thing. It's like
at a younger
Well, you know
age,
you're not gonna
he's
serve all
eventually going to
25.
get out at an
just
earlier age.
go because most of the time these guys, a lot of them don't get life anymore.
Right.
There's no death penalty really being done here in this state anymore.
Yeah,
So-
took it off the table.
Yeah, it's been pretty much taken off the table. So like some people, if they're 15 years old and they murder somebody, most of the time they're going to get 25 And
to
if they
life
get
just
out,
means-
yeah,
yeah.
but they can also get out for good time.
And you
Yep.
do
Good-
day
good
for day, but good
behavior.
behavior, you can be out from 50% of that on that.
Yeah,
side.
so a 15-year-old commits a murder can be out by 27. They still have the rest of their life
Right.
to live.
Right.
So, to me, it's, I hate to say it, but at some point there needs to be, like, I think if you, for instance, there was just a drive-by shooting again not that long ago, right? It was on the 91 freeway, if I'm not mistaken, out in like Santa Ana area. You committed that crime. You killed somebody on the road. Like, to me, you need to be gone. I don't care what age you are. Like, you need to go away. And I hate to say it, but like, do we need to take this back to like the 1800s? And it's an eye for an eye, man. Fuck, hang somebody if you have to.
Get a
Like,
rope.
fucking
I-
get a rope.
Public cane.
I mean,
No, just
I'm
try him
around
as an
amigos.
just try him as an adult. Don't give him any leeway. I mean, look, the difference between being tried as an adult and tried as a child or whatever for the same exact crime, the problem is that they shouldn't have any rights. They have more. I think they have more programs for juveniles to try to help them mentally moving forward. They don't get that as adults in prison necessarily compared to what they get. I mean, you do get a lot of options to try to regroup your life, right? After you do something in prison. But the children, I mean, the kids and adults, they have more options. They have more things in jail for them to do to try to rehabilitate. Now, in my opinion, try them as an adult. I mean, I don't let them get fucked into prison, just like every other adult that goes in there, and have them suffer the same consequences, So fuck it. You need to be tried.
But
That's my
so
opinion.
we're all talking from the point of, oh, they're recruiting kids or they're doing this, but they don't have to necessarily recruit a kid
No.
that wants to be part of their gang. It could be like, hey, look, I'm going to kill your family if you don't go kill this guy. So at that point, you're almost protecting your family to do something like that. I'm not saying it's right, but
They just pull the
at the
gun
same
out and
time,
shoot him for saying that to you.
Right.
Yeah,
But
there's definitely stipulations, but and I'm a proponent of taking it by a case basis. But if you come
Definitely.
out and
and
say
you just pull it completely off the table, then yeah, I know what
yeah.
you're saying.
we're not going to do it, you're binary about it. Nothing's binary in this world, in my opinion. But
Right.
I don't know. What do I know? And then overcrowding in prisons and in jails is another issue.
Mhm.
That's why we're seeing a lot of guys get out on quote unquote good behavior, or people
Right.
with lesser crimes getting out, which is the dumbest thing I've ever heard, just because that's what they were convicted for. That doesn't mean they've been out, they haven't killed anybody. It just means that they were convicted for stealing. And then, they get out and they're a sociopath, and then we're doing this thing again.
That's why we need to start bringing the death penalty back.
Right. Let me
Free up some of these spaces in prison.
let me play devil's advocate real quick right here.
I'm serious.
And this question goes out to Rick too, that's listening. All you guys have children. Your
Yeah.
your children commit murder. How do you guys feel? Should they be tried as an adult?
Yes.
Depends on the crime.
And they're-
Yeah, it
it's
depends.
murder.
It
It's
depends
murder.
on the crime.
I just said it's
If
murder.
it's premeditated, you go. I'm
Yeah.
gonna feel bad for my kid, but I've told my kids, look, I've given you guys everything. I've given you all the tools to be successful people in
Yeah.
life. If you go out and screw your life up, I'm not coming to see you. And it's
Exactly.
harsh. I'm not coming. I'm not, because
Yeah.
you made a choice to do something egregious. I'm gonna feel bad and it's gonna kill me, but you're gonna have to pay for that.
Yeah,
But
exactly. I
okay. In
agree.
your situation, like if somebody threatened your kid
Mhm.
and told them that, hey, look, if you don't go do this, then I'm going to kill your family.
Okay.
You wouldn't go visit them, even though they committed the crime, but in a sense, they were trying to save your life. You would
No,
punish
Bob, that's a bunch of
you
horseshit.
know what,
I'm
Bob,
sorry,
like I
that's
said,
a bunch
the
of
way he's
horseshit.
saying it is like,
No, I
you
hear
know,
what
you
you're
committed
saying.
the crime,
And
you're
like
doing
I
this.
said, not everything's binary, right? In that situation, but I've told my kids, look, come to your parents. We can help you. So if they said that,
Sure.
right?
Right.
Before he goes
Yes.
and does that, we're going to the cops and we'll take our chances. And then if
Right.
he comes and kills us, you know what? We could get killed any moment, at any day, at any time,
Yep.
with all these mass
Definitely.
shootings and stuff.
Yep.
I don't know. Like, I don't have the right answer.
But at least
No,
you're to be
none of
prepared
us
for that. If they're trying
Yes,
to
come and tell
yeah,
us so we can try to figure it out.
Sure,
Yeah.
sure.
that's
So
I-
we need to
I'll
have
th-
open communication with our kids and let them know that, hey, look, we're here to support you. We're here to help you in any way that you need. So just
what
be
you
there.
have to tell your kid. Yeah, absolutely. What you have to tell your kids is no matter what you do wrong, come to us.
Right.
Is what you have to tell them, you know.
Sure.
Brian, I'm sorry, I cut you off, sir.
Oh no, I was just going to say, I think Ed and I are sort of similar here. Like, bring back the death penalty. Let's actually see it be utilized.
Yeah.
And
Fuck
maybe
yeah.
that helps deter some of this. I mean,
Yes, I
sorry.
agree with that.
And not only that, I honestly, I think if you commit a mass shooting and you're still alive,
Oh, yeah.
fucking be shot.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
honestly, like, why send that person off to prison?
Right.
Like, I mean,
I agree.
What?
it's just,
My
I-
only caveat to bringing the death penalty back is they need to get it done within a year or two, not
Right,
12
right.
years later, because I do believe
Right.
you're a different person 12 years from when you do
oh, I'm
something.
yeah,
I think they need to
absolutely.
do it quickly.
Well, but the other thing too is there has been that occasional issue, right, where somebody we find out much later
Yes.
actually didn't commit a crime. So the only
Right.
problem with pulling the trigger so quickly, I think when we know, like, you're on camera
Right.
shooting the person, or
Yeah.
you're taken into custody with the gun in your hand that you just killed 14 people,
Yeah.
that's when it's like, fuck, this
Or
is
like
real
that
quick.
piece of shit, Richard Ramirez.
Yeah, this
That
is real quick.
cocksucker lived like fucking 20 years or
Right.
I don't know, 15 years. Then
Yeah,
died of
in prison.
cancer.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
It's
well,
like,
he got
what?
he got the ass whooping of his life. If it wasn't police, that saved his ass when they caught him.
Wow.
He was fucked up.
So,
Yeah,
but I
should have killed him.
anyways.
they should have.
Well,
All right.
I agree.
Mick, you
All
got
right,
one more?
switching, yeah, let's just switching switching topics here.
Yeah.
This one's I saw this and I'm like, what would the guys think? Human cloning, and specifically in
Oh boy.
I mean, there's two schools of thought, right? Human cloning, and then there's cloning of organs and stuff. So
Right.
I think one is more apropos than the other. But just in general, what do you guys think about that?
Well, there's differences to your pros and your cons. I mean, I'd have a few myself. Like I'd be chilling at home while the other motherfucker works. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but what if that guy's out committing crimes?
Yeah.
I don't think you can have one without the other, unfortunately.
What do you mean?
Like cloning organs and whatnot. Yeah, that could help a lot of people.
Correct.
But cloning a whole new entire person,
I don't think we need
another
another
Jamal or
Luda.
another
Me with
Brian.
my
Then it's
clone.
like,
Yeah. I don't think we
I
need
didn't
another
do it with
Luda
my
running
clone.
these streets.
Yeah.
I think a couple more Ludas would change the
Well,
world. for the
let
good.
me set it up. Let's just say hypothetically, it's like the Jetsons where you could push a button and clone someone. I know this is a hypothetical conversation at this point regarding cloning people. But
Right.
would you be a proponent of that? If we could do that, would you be a proponent of that?
No,
Organs
Why not, Renee?
would be
Well, I mean, like,
beneficial and helpful, but not an actual person.
I didn't
Yeah,
hear what you
let's
said,
like-
Renee.
let's just for instance, like my mom passed away, right? Like I'm gonna clone her to be back to life. That's weird.
yeah, I think
That's like-
people would do that with their kids if
Yeah,
they died.
Right.
Sure.
People would do that with the kids.
And it's not the same person.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. It's not.
Now, what just because I believe in God and things like, what about like a spirit, right? If we all believe in like ghosts and spirits, something weird there. Like,
Yeah,
Probably.
another thing that I thought about too is the monetizing piece of it and the legal, like, how does that work, right? Like, I want Kobe Bryant. Do I go get his DNA and then clone him again? And then if so, how much does that cost? And what's the priority? Like, there's a lot of layers to that thing, right?
Yeah.
Even with organs too, right?
yeah, I agree. I would be out on that, dude.
There's
Cloning
some-
people, yeah. Cloning organs,
Well, yeah,
it could help a lot of people.
Yeah,
There's,
it-
there-
I
there's
mean,
like a
that's-
list out there, by the way. I don't know if you guys did much research on this. Obviously, Mick, you came up with the topic, so I'm sure you did some research on it. But like, there's like 20. There's a list: 20 advantages and disadvantages of cloning humans, and some of them are pretty interesting. Obviously, new ways to recover from trauma would be a good
Right.
reason for cloning.
Okay.
Resolve problems with fertility.
When they say like recovering from trauma
Mhm.
and you're cloning someone, I mean,
Well, they're
Sounds
talking
like
about no, but
I-
some of the
I'm not-
cloning, some of the cloning is not necessarily just human cloning. It's also like a liver or whatever.
Right.
So they're even talking about like ACL injuries.
usually when
that
I
you
hear,
could
like,
do-
I'm
you
thinking
could
like,
do cloning of an ACL basically, and and somebody'd have an ACL put into their leg, and instead of it being a year-long process, it's only a 3-month process, and they're back to having full
I
functionality.
only want cloning if you could put my leg or my arm back on. Like if I completely lost it, can you put it back? If not,
Well, that I think that's what they're talking. They're talking about some of that.
Or
well,
besides having a human clone that kind of lives a full life out in the world. I mean, I'm sure there could be a situation where they clone humans, and it's this your human put somewhere, and
That ain't alive.
and
Has
when
anybody
you,
seen the movie Multiplicity?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where
Michael
the dude
Keaton.
made like
Michael
7
Keaton.
clones of him, and everyone was like a little bit worse, till like the 7th one was like
Yes.
the R word.
Yes.
I don't
But-
know. I
but
don't know.
yeah.
I'm with you guys. I think that if we could clone, if we can clone organs, I think that would be a good thing. But there's so
Mhm.
much to it, right? Like from a
Yep.
I think it would have to be government regulated. But the problem with the government is everything is super inefficient. And then what if we have supply chain issues? What if, and then if we leave it to the private sector, then people are going to monetize. Competition would be good, but then it still leaves people out, like people who don't have money. How can
Right.
they benefit from it as well? So I'm not sure what the right answer is on that, but I saw that and wanted to see what you guys thought about it. So
You don't have money, you don't benefit.
I'm sorry.
Right.
You don't have money, you don't benefit.
Well, there's people who don't have money who
Right.
who get free healthcare, right?
Well, yeah.
only in Canada.
Rick
No,
said
here.
cloning people means more gun violence.
No, I'm saying that's healthcare. They get healthcare, getting like top doctors.
It's not, but it's better than no healthcare, right?
No, I'm just saying like cloning. I don't think your insurance is going to cover your cloning.
Oh,
That's-
Well,
that's
they already
basically
said
for
that.
people.
Yeah, that's true.
Initially, cloning will only be for the wealthy, even if it
Yeah.
comes around, because it'll be way too costly. But they're just saying like it could reduce like diversity of our genetic makeup. You could do like they could create rapidly aging populations. I mean, they got a lot of different things on
No,
here.
well, I mean, look,
I might need a new
you're
liver in
obvious-
about 10 years.
Yeah,
Be
I think
alright.
I'll be honest with you. I think cloning is actually
Bottoms up.
happening now. It's not legal, so it's not being publicized. But I feel like there's, like people said, it's for the wealthy. I'm sure there's a company out there, biogeneric company or whatever, that's
Yeah.
doing it and keeps these people in a freezer
Hey,
for
rumor
for
is
these
that
people that need a liver.
the one that died on Buffalo Bills this past season, that died on the field, and they brought him back to life.
Hamlin?
Yeah, they said they saw a picture of him because he has a tattoo on his neck, right here,
Yeah.
and then came back, the tattoo was gone.
So you're throwing out conspiracy theories?
I'm just
Hey.
telling you. Oh, hey,
Yeah.
cloning might be out
Well,
there.
like, I don't think he's at that level
Yeah.
of wealth that he can.
Some of
actually
the,
get that.
some of these conspiracy theories, like
But NFL would not want someone to die on the field. It's already bad enough with their.
the
Right.
the
Yep.
president right now is Donald Trump. The vice president is John F. Kennedy, and the Secretary of State is JFK Jr. Two of which are already dead. One was assassinated. The other one died in a plane crash. But yet they're in
Back
charge.
Mussolini and
Yeah.
Adolf too.
Hey, one
Yeah.
disadvantage that they're saying could be the exploitation of women, because it requires, in order to do cloning of humans, it requires viable embryos, which means you have to get that only from women in order to create or clone a human.
Oh, they,
So
they
well,
they
you gotta
become more of
extract
a
the eggs.
commodity than they already are.
There you go. Yep.
that was the next one. It turns people into commodities. So
Yeah, and then this Renee hit the nail on the head. We're playing God at that point, or whatever, or
Yeah.
whoever you believe
Yeah.
is your higher being, and that's just a thing in itself.
yeah,
So,
they also said it would change the last one, which was brought up. It would change how we approach grief and unexpected loss.
Yeah.
Because if you could,
Yeah,
like you said, all of a sudden you lost a child, I'm
Nah,
bringing the child back.
Trying to have Pet Cemetery across the.
yeah, you know what? It would devalue
Hey,
life, right? 'Cause I'm
Luda,
like, man, I
Luda,
hate
you could
this
be ready
version
for
of
the
Luda.
zombie apocalypse.
Right.
Maybe that's what it would
Yeah,
start.
give me my AR-15.
Like, I hate this version of Luda. You take him out, I'm like, man, I'll just create a new version of him, right? Like, it's, I don't know.
I like this version.
But you
of
might get to the point where you're like, damn, I should just kept the original. Luda.
Yeah, you never know which version.
Like,
you
damn.
get.
Do you guys remember that movie? God, it was an old 80s movie. Shit, I can't remember the name. This guy has his girlfriend, hot girlfriend. It's that girl, Christy Swanson. They were like teenagers. She died, and he had been working down in his basement at his parents' house on like bringing back I don't know if it was a rabbit or a mouse.
Was it,
Well,
it wasn't Reanimator, right?
no.
Okay.
And she died. So he went, got her body, took it back to his house, brought her back, but then she was like killer, psycho. So then she
Right.
just started killing people. It was kind of dumb, but
Rick,
since
that's
we're on that
definitely
topic,
not
it's
weird
like-
science. Rick,
Yeah.
that's not weird science.
no,
Yes.
not weird science. Oh,
The
that I'll
Buffy
take
the
Kelly
Vampire
LeBrock
Slayer
though.
or some shit.
There you go.
Well, you'll take Kelly LeBrock then,
Back
not
then, yeah.
necessarily
Not
now.
Not now.
Kelly Lynott now. That's
Even if you're
Kelly
cloning
Lynott.
like it's some like during the clone, like I don't know that. Do you have to have every? I don't know. Something could be missing, like they said, just off when they come
yeah,
back.
because I think that they would have, like, I know they said eggs, right? I think they would have to be able to take like your DNA and then like maybe take like a sterile egg and then be able to implant the DNA because the DNA, like you taking an egg just from a woman, right? Any woman, and then making that into Luda without his DNA, it's not going to work.
Yeah, that don't make sense.
The
Right.
personality may be different. I mean, you never know.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it's the same
Deadly
person.
friend. That's
Yeah.
what it was.
It was
I say
what?
we just leave it as
Deadly
it is.
friend.
Leave it
Deadly.
as it
That's
is.
I just looked it up right now.
Yeah.
Deadly Friend, a Frankenstein inspired tale.
Yeah.
Christy Swanson. I don't even remember who Christy Swanson is.
She's
She
the
was,
original Buffy the Vampire.
Slayer.
Yeah,
Ah.
if you watch football, she came on the movie The Program.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All
Well,
right.
that's all I have, boys. I just wanted to throw that out there. I thought it'd be pretty fun to kind of talk about it. But that's all I've got for my segment.
All right. Well, that's going to end up concluding episode 104 then.
Well
All right.
done.
Another one in the books, boys. We'll stay tuned for episode 105. We'll be back next Sunday. So tune in via YouTube or check us out on one of the major podcast sites. All right. Thanks, guys.
Keep your